Welcome to Underwire Podcast. If you are new, I'm Dominique, and if you are returning, thank you. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us to grow. And please comment and like. That also helps the algorithm. So today I am joined with Carrie Ekins. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you. So Carrie is actually from Germany, and so she came to our little town to actually train other instructors on her Drums Alive program, which we'll definitely get into later. And if you see some people over here peering, that's Diana and Amber. Say hi, Diana and Amber. So if you have been following Underwire, you know Diana and Amber. But if not, please go back to my first and second podcasts and videos, because Diana and Amber are rock stars. They agreed to be my first two guests, which I'm so grateful for, as I fumbled around. And they talk about fighting for the rights of individuals with diversabilities. And if you don't know what diversability means, that's just anybody with a different ability than what we consider the norm, which I hate that word norm, but that's to explain to everybody what that is. Enter Carrie. So Carrie came into Diana and Amber's life through the Drums Alive program. Carrie Ekins is an international educator, presenter, and creator. She is dedicated to educating and creating programs that make a difference and inspire others to seek a positive and healthy lifestyle for all ages and all abilities. And that part is really important, you guys. So I love her Drums Alive program. We'll totally explain what that is. It's an exercise. Basically, it's an exercise and cognitive program. Like I said, anybody can do it, all ages, all abilities. It is not just an exercise program. Drums Alive really is a transformative power of music, rhythm, drumming, movement, and cognitive applications. But yeah, so anyway, you are married, you have 3 children. Can I say their ages?
Yep, they're a little bit older than that. I saw that.
How old are they?
So this first one is 30, is going to be 35. He just turned it. And the other one's 33. She won't, not yet, but will be. And my baby is 30.
Oh,
So
you look amazing. Like, you look like you're only 40 something. Seriously.
Okay, I'm 66. But
Well,
other than that, we're good.
Girl, listen, if for the listeners, like primarily my demographic is female, but for all you females listening, once you hear what Carrie has accomplished and what she's done, everything revolves around moving the body and being positive and helping others. And I honestly think there's no face cream in the world that can emit such a radiance like movement and caring for others. And I think you're the epitome of that, honestly.
My God.
Yeah, I think that's where your beauty comes from. And you are one of 6 children, which is like, you had to fight for everything you got there, I'm sure.
Well, actually, I was number 2, and they all had to fight.
Oh!
No, okay. It's all good.
You got to boss them around, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were a high school and collegiate competitive athlete.
Yes.
Now, you have listed skiing, swimming, track, and field. Did you compete in all of those?
I did. And then dance. Can't forget that one.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm starting to feel like an underachiever.
That was my passion.
What was your favorite dance to do?
Oh my gosh, dance. I did a lot of folk dance, traveled all over the world. I was lucky. And then I loved sports. I could never make a decision. That was the problem.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's always just going to the end.
I can see that. Yeah. Now, my older daughter danced, so that's fine. She was a point dancer primarily. And then my younger daughter also went to college for track. Yeah. What was your event in track and field?
It was the 5.
Oh, okay.
I did all 5.
My daughter was a long jumper.
Yeah.
Wow, her pelvis is shattered because of it. Yeah, so she had to give that up. But
I kind of get it.
Another story. Okay, so let's see here. What would you say? I'm just going to go right into it. Was your biggest influence, or the person that was your biggest influence in your life that motivated or inspired you to participate in all these different activities and to just go after life and grab it by the cojones?
Okay, I love it. I can't really say it was just one person.
Okay, that's all right.
Because of all the different sports that you did, so that you were improving and you were just motivated by the different teachers that you had. But I will start with my parents.
Yeah.
Because my father was also an athlete and played piano, and my mom played piano and was a dancer. And so we just grew up with that.
Right.
And they motivated us because we were already skiing by the time we were 2.5 or 3 years old.
Are you
and
serious?
Yeah, we did. And we were out water skiing at young ages, driving the boats at 13 years old. So we were.
So you had fearless parents.
We did.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that taught you to grab
Right.
onto life.
And then there's one really special one, and it's Mary B. Jensen. She was my folk dance leader, teacher, and I knew her since the time of skiing because I skied with her son. And she brought me all over the world because of the folk dance. So as a team, it wasn't just me, but that was unbelievable. You get in the airplane and you fly to Europe, and you come out of Utah. That's where I grew up.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
And it was very exciting. And she was amazing. So I got to give her some credit too. Yeah.
So you grew up in Utah.
Yes.
How did you end up in Germany?
My husband came to Utah to go skiing, got injured. My sister called him because she worked for him in California, and she said, well, go visit my family. So he did without asking. He showed up at the house, and that's how we met.
Aww.
And so then from there, we went back and forth from Germany to America, depending upon the jobs that we had.
So he's German.
He is.
Did you learn the language?
Jawohl, da kann ich ein bisschen Deutsch reden, wenn du willst.
Okay. She said, I'm so beautiful.
Yes. It was so unglaublich schön.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So obviously you're one smart cookie, that's for sure. Now we know a little bit about you and why you're so fantastic. Let's kind of go into the Drums Alive story by the fact that you were injured, correct? You had a hip injury.
Multiple, because I've had 4 hip replacements, but it started with the first hip replacement that went bad. And then, so the second one, that's where I was not able to walk. I was in the hospital for a long time. And actually, that's where Drums Alive started, in the hospital bed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You just had the thought, you had the idea for it.
Well, my doctor, he's an amazing doctor. I still go to him. He said to me, hey, Carrie, you've got 2 hands and 2 arms. Do something with it. And so it was because of that I started playing rhythmical applications on the bed. And then when I went home, I started drumming on actually boxes. And I was sitting on this great big ball, the stability ball. And then all of a sudden I just started beating on it. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is great. And that's how. So I started in a seated position. Then when I could stand up, I was just playing on one drum. And then later when I would add more, I could move to the sides and front and back. And Drums Alive was born.
Oh, I love a good creative story. And for all the women that are listening, whatever season of life they're in, I know they might still have little kids and they're busy. But if you have an idea for something, please go after it, even maybe after your kids get older, you have a little bit more time. Because can you imagine if you just would have had that thought, just go here, this is where my brain goes. Yep. If you had that thought and you were like, and you kind of let the negative thoughts creep in, so what? I think it's cool. Nobody else is going to think it's cool. Who am I going to help with, doing what I just came up with, beating on a stability ball with drumsticks? And what? If you would have thought that, look at all the people that never would have been impacted, never would have been helped.
Right.
So please, if you're listening, if you have a little inkling of an idea, go for it. Right, Carrie?
Right, go for it. I'm going to say a German one. I taught that today. So it's aus Not wird man erfinderisch. So that means out of emergency, you become very, very, very creative.
Right.
And so I think that's a great way to think. So, or the other way you can say it is if you happen to have also issues with it, and things are irritating. You take the lemons and you make lemonade.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's it.
Okay. So I'm curious about your recovery when you were coming up with the idea for Drums Alive. How long was your recovery? I know that's kind of an ambiguous question because you had 4 different.
Well, but we'll start with the ones where I
Okay.
started the program.
Yes.
And so that was the second one.
Okay.
And yeah, so it took me 6 months to even be able to walk. It took me 9 months to walk normally, and I wasn't even normal by then. And it took me a year to be even to start the Drums Alive program.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I had 3 children, little babies. So it was a tough one.
They were like toddlers at the time?
Toddlers and up to a little bit. So first, second, third, fourth.
So you had to have some help taking care of them, I imagine.
did. After a while, yeah. So,
Wow. So again, if you are a mom sitting at home, you have any type of physical disability, or you're even faced with some, the mental health is so big right now. You're getting depressed. You're going through a hard time in your life. There is hope.
Yep.
There is hope.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't walk for 6 months. You were trying to take care of toddlers.
Yep.
So I just want to keep encouraging women to keep looking to the future and just do what they can now and keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
To make their dreams come true. And I will say this too. When your dream involves helping other people, I think God helped you a little bit along the way
Of
with
course.
that. Yeah, for sure.
And I still have to say, because one of my hips, the second hip replacement, I had to have a bone transfer.
Oh my God.
So every time I say that, I'm very thankful that somebody shared their bone with me. So, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go into a donor discussion too. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, this is just a side note because I'm curious. Why the hip issues? Like, did a particular sport contribute to those?
Oh my goodness.
Or just because of everything combined?
And because you're one of those that think that you can do everything and you don't know. I didn't know back then that I had a bad hip. So, so it just happens.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I always say, if people say this is impossible, you're going to say, I am possible.
I love that. I saw that quote on, I think maybe your YouTube channel or somewhere on your website, and I love that.
Yep.
I love that. Say it again, please.
Yeah. So if you say, I have it even written out here, the story of impossible to I am possible.
Go ahead. I want to
I'm
hear
possible. Yeah, and that's the story because
Okay.
I just believed that I could do it. Somebody said to me, hey, Carrie, when I was able to start teaching, they said to me, hey, Carrie, this will never work.
Don't you love it?
Looking around,
That
and
just
I said,
fuels me.
I said, oh, yes, it will. And now it's over 22 years that we've been doing Drums Alive.
Good for you.
All around the world. Maybe not like some of the others because I'm still just me. And I have a German team and I have an American. And it's an amazing team. And really, truly, as we look at our...
and you keep recruiting wonderful people like Diana and
I didn't
Amber.
recruit them. They were brought to me.
Yeah.
So I
absolutely.
want to say that it's not about me. I mean, in the beginning, yeah, maybe because nobody was doing it. But it's a team effort. And with a good team and with a good heart, you can create and do anything from impossible to I'm possible.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I believe that too. If you're genuine, God will spread it far and wide. Let me just go into your degrees because I'm just so impressed by you. Master of Arts in Education, and I'm not going to do you justice because of time constraints, but physical education, dance, sports medicine, athletic training. You go on to get I think you have teaching certificate, but you have your master's, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You've been involved in teaching at universities. You've been on the faculty at universities. And again, I'm not doing her justice. We would be here all day if I read everything she's accomplished. She's been involved in health, fitness, wellness. Now she's the CEO and founder of Drums Alive. She's obviously been big in business. She's also been involved with choreography. I mean, my gosh, you did choreography for a PBS show. You were a program designer. I think she has 9 lives, people. Seriously, how many hours are in her day, but you have many other skills. You're an international lecturer and keynote speaker. You have traveled to about 20 countries. Is that correct? Because I was counting them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's been to like 20 countries. So cool.
Yeah, or some have come then to Germany to train with me. So
gotcha.
But so we still include them because we were working with them. So just
gotcha.
Yeah.
But you've been touched by 20 cultures, basically.
And a lot being around the world because of that. And so just very grateful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And just such an experience. Like I always try to encourage women. I know we feel like we're stuck in the mundane, like every day, especially if your kids are little. Yeah. But please keep that passion on the back burner, because like me, my girls just went to college, and it's like, you can start again. Yep. Like, you did your job with your children. Now go do something that makes your heart sing and brings you joy, and helps others. You're a mind-body specialist, Pilates, yoga, core instructor, sensory motor instructor, aerobic, self-defense personal trainer. Okay, so that's just like I didn't even like go into it. But what would you say, out of all of the certifications and degrees, education, what would you say is your favorite to do or teach? Or is it kind of like children and you can't pick a favorite?
I'm kind of that. No, I really have to say that, how you made this look like it's been years. You got to remember that.
Yes, I'm saying it in like 5 minutes, but it's been a span of a lifetime.
Yeah,
sure,
of course.
Sure, yeah.
I think the most important thing for me was I love to teach. I love to teach. I love to create. I love to have my participants create. I always have that moment of allowing them to move like they want to, and how to make them feel that power. I'm just going to say the power of music, of movement, of rhythm, and all these things that just make you feel good.
Yeah, and I love that you meet people where they are. Yeah. Like you say, okay, you come to me where you are and I will meet you there. I don't expect you to come to where I'm at or my level. I love that.
Right.
And that's what I see in the Drums Alive program for sure. What I'm curious about when I heard your story was, what was your first step? Because if anybody's listening, let's say a woman's listening and she has a dream and she's like, oh gosh, I don't even know how to take that first step. What was your first step beyond you hitting those, drumming on the boxes to, okay, I'm going to move this from something in my mind into reality? How did you take that? And what was your first step?
Yeah. So my first step truly was about sitting on the chair, drumming, and then all of a sudden I was euphoric. I was sweaty and I couldn't believe what was happening. So I started researching. And the research is what really, truly changed my idea of what I was doing.
Oh.
So I went up online and looked and found that in the fitness industry, there was, at that time, over 20 years ago, there was no research about it. So I went to music, and I found in the music world that they had already started brain training. They had already worked and why it's so important and what happens when you're drumming with music. And I was so enamored by that I just said, I have to know more. So I started studying, and that's truly how it started. So from there, from that knowing what you're doing and understanding why, that makes the big difference. And that's where that ping for a brain program began.
Because now you not only, you weren't just dealing with like, oh, I have an idea and I like doing it and it makes me feel good, but now you have like reason and cause behind it of how it actually could help others. You kind of put those two pieces together.
Yep.
So you make an interesting note. It's not only good physically, but cognitively.
Yes.
Can you, without getting too geeky sciencey,
I got it right here. If you
I don't know. It might go over my head, but if we could try to simplify, like what really happens in the brain when you're moving and to a certain beat, and then the music, like what is synergistically like happening there in the brain?
Okay, so there's different ways of utilizing the music. So we use a lot of 32 count phrases, which is consistent at the same. So it has, let's say, 4 sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 sets of 8, and then you do that repeatedly.
Yes.
There's also the kind of music that has, for example, verse, chorus, verse. And so that's also a different change, because if the verse, chorus, verse doesn't keep that beat, you'll have those moments of, so you get that moment of quietness or different type of a music rhythm. And it's really interesting. So it really is different depending upon the music that you choose and how you choose it, and taking then the music to make you feel that power that music gives you.
Yeah.
So we can go here all day long.
Yeah. But I love that part of the program, because I think all too often when, I didn't want to reduce it to the word exercise, because I know it involves so much more. And I want people to understand that music is so important in your life, just in general. Yep. Okay. But secondly, when you're working out, and when I used to teach, and Diana will attest to this, like my music was like, our music's important to us. Like it would ruin my whole class when I'd be teaching a group X class if I didn't have the right music. Yeah. And I just think it's so important, not only for people's emotions and energy level, but now we know it's important cognitively in the brain. Yep. So, and as we age, I love the older population that's drumming and even, working out in any type of exercise environment. Like it helps to keep their brain elasticity, if I'm correct. I'm no neuroscientist, but
that's good.
Working, right?
Right.
Okay, good. Yay.
Yeah, you did a great job. Okay. Perfect. There's more.
Okay,
and we can always do it, but we got to do that differently.
Yeah.
Because
that would be a whole other, yeah. I know. And here's the great thing about podcasts. You can take complex subjects and make them simple and tell somebody's life story in 5 minutes. But that's also the bad thing about podcasts. Right. You know what I mean? Because it makes things look easier than it actually is. But so talk to me a little bit about how this grew to be the giant that it is now.
Oh my gosh. I don't know that it is a giant.
I think it's a giant, Carrie.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. I think it's really important that we utilize what we have and don't expect to be perfect with everything that you're doing. And your ability to make somebody happy, isn't that the number one thing that we need to do? We don't need to show how great we are. We don't need to show that I can do this and this and this, and then you can try it. No, we need to make it so that the people that you're working with, you're moving with, that they experience that emotion of happiness and joy. And that's kind of my theory.
I love it. Yeah. So when you started, did you start teaching the classes yourself in Germany?
Yes.
Okay. And then how did you think, wow, were people coming up to you wanting to learn how to teach it?
Yeah, that's funny. So you go to a lot of conventions. So when you go to the conventions, they ask you to present, and you present, and then the people do come immediately and say, hey, where can I go get a training? And we do that. And it's been in Germany. That's where it first started. And then 2 years later, I had finally gotten to America and brought it to America. So it's been in America since, 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So this is the story about YouTube. YouTube has, because they've seen a lot that's happening, it's not all about Drums Alive because it's been taken over the years. And so I just really want to be able to utilize it in a proper way, that it is about brain, it's about body, it's about mind, it's about making somebody feel good. And the choreographies that you utilize are important. And I think that's the most important thing that I have. Sometimes it makes me sad sometimes to be able to see that it's all about, just hit the drum. That's not what it's about.
When people reduce it to just like, I want to get a good sweat. Yeah. Because that's not really what it's about. You brought up a good question in my mind. When you come up with a choreography, talk to me a little bit about the elements that you're putting together for that choreography, because you're not just thinking physical movements, which is what like I used to do. Like I was just, a group X instructor. You're thinking about cognitive as well. So are you still researching, putting that together with your choreography?
Yeah, we've also actually have almost 6 researches that we've published
You have published papers.
I do.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
and what do you do? Pair up with universities to do that?
Yeah, with universities and also, different universities from here and also in Germany. So, so because of those publications, if you can't describe what you've done and how that the research you have supports what you're doing,
right?
Does it make sense?
No.
So
listen up, people. Drums Alive is not just, let's go in and take an aerobics class or a group X class. Yeah. It's so much more than that. And I so appreciate that you put so much hard work and effort and research into it, and you have actual published papers proving the connection between the mind and the body, right? Am I getting that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. And which is why this is such a great program, not only with people with just like average or regular, or I don't want to say normal, I hate that word, but physical abilities, but somebody that is limited on their physical or cognitive abilities also can take it.
Right.
So I don't know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you. Do you have a lot of people or anybody in wheelchairs doing this? Because I would imagine that it's something that would be good for them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. It depends. When I'm traveling and doing things in schools, then of course we have everybody.
Yes. And
the mix is great. And I love it. And I think it's fun. And I really like to go up to them and drum with them.
Yeah.
And I think that to say, okay, you're in a wheelchair, that doesn't really mean anything. I was in a wheelchair. I still did it. You know, it's a combination of everything put together. If you can stand for a minute, then go ahead and stand. Our seniors, they can stand for a bit. They maybe not be able to stand the whole time, and that's okay.
Gotcha.
And so it's not that, you can stand or you can sit. No, it's what you can do.
So it really is for all abilities.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting. All right, awesome. So is this primarily what you do now? The Drums Alive, you've devoted your life to this at this point? Because I know you're so diverse. I didn't know if you were still dabbling in anything.
You run out of time, but I do still teach regular classes from strength.
So you are still doing weight training classes and cycling and different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In addition to growing your Drums Alive program. All right.
Pilates, don't forget.
Oh, Pilates. Love Pilates.
Yeah, me
yes,
too.
Yes. So what about, I always see the subtitle Ability Beats. Is that just a way that you describe Drums Alive, or is that something separate?
Okay, so in Drums Alive, we have multiple classes of different styles. So Drums Alive is kind of like the mother.
Gotcha.
And then from Drums Alive, we have those what you just said, Ability Beats. We have Mathematic in Motion, Rhythm in Motion, Science in Motion. We have seniors, golden beats. We call it golden beats. We have hardcore type of.
I'm just curious. Like, what is the mathematics?
Yeah.
In motion, you called it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. That's so interesting to me.
We just talked about it this morning.
That's so interesting.
It's about how you can utilize math in drumming.
Wow.
So, for example, if I gave this away, it's like, so for ones are up above your head. For fives are down on the top. For 100 is on the side of the ball, and 1,000 is down on the floor. So I could say, show me 501.
Oh,
so if it's
love
500 and it's down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. And so you're drumming at the same time, and then the music fits to it too. That's another part. In part, it's not just about saying it. You say it, then you put music to it, and it's magical, really.
And is there scientific proof that when you say something and move while you're saying it and thinking about it, that you will learn it more efficiently than if you were just sitting in a classroom trying to learn math, let's say?
I believe that.
I believe that
I haven't done research on that, but I do know that with music, with movement, with cognitive applications, putting them together, there is research on those things. But what I think is amazing is that the students can do this in their classroom. Mm-hmm. They can do it in the gym. And in the gym, they get the exercise a little bit more. So we're working that way, too. It's not just standing there beating, but you're down and up and over. And it's really important also to utilize our strength, utilize our ability to work with the students at the same time they are exercising and learning something at the same time.
So here's where my entrepreneurial brain went. I might be giving you an idea if you don't already do this. Not like you need one more thing to do. So I'm thinking, okay, applications are obviously gyms, YMCAs, any fitness boutiques, schools is a big one. I would love for more schools to get on board with this, especially the mathematics in motion. Do you have any type of subscription website where, like, if there's a stay-at-home mom, she needs activity to do with her toddlers during the day, she can get a subscription, log in, and do this with her children at home?
Okay, so we do have virtual stuff going on, so that's like what you said.
And where can they find that virtual
on
stuff?
The drums-alive.com.
Okay.
You can have it, so drums-alive.com. That is our webpage, and then we also have examples that they can look at, and we have videos, a lot of videos, so just go up online and you can find things that you would like to utilize. And if you really want to do workouts, we also do every once in a while, so examples just for fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you would like to make some money off of that, I'm giving you some advice.
That's a good one. You should give it to me.
Get a subscription website, because when my girls were little, I used to turn music on and hold them and dance around with them. And then when they were old enough, we used to choreograph dances and stuff.
Perfect.
And, probably most of my aerobics classes were choreography that they came up with. But I think that would be amazing for a mom to know about this. And they're not only preparing their child for preschool and kindergarten, but they're developing their brain, and the synapses are firing, and they're learning and they're moving. Come on. Okay. That's your future goal. I'm going to check in with you next year. See if you have it done yet.
There we go.
How many individuals do you think are certified in Drums Alive at this point? How many have you certified?
Well, in Germany, we have, I think, 5,000. In America.
No way.
Oh, yeah. But it's been over.
I know, but
years,
that's such a nice, an amazing accomplishment.
And in the United States, it's not that high as in Germany, because we work with another company also, a few different ones. And then in the United States, I think it's a few thousand.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
More than that.
That's amazing. So I'll take this opportunity to mention that is why you are in our town. You have worked with Diana and Amber, and you're here to certify. I think Diana got 15 people to get certified. Yeah, that was the goal. Yeah. Now, let me ask you how you and Diana and Amber met. I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey with them.
Oh, my goodness. Whew. So, Hal, I'm going to have your help here. When did I meet you? When was it? Well, it's 2016? 15. Yeah, so that many years ago. No, I'm joking. Anyway, we did meet at, we were doing a training.
Okay.
And they happened to just come in. So we met and we started drumming with the basic skills, and they learned the basic training. And I was just enamored by them, and I thought that they were just wonderful people, and I could just tell.
Now let me interject. At this point, had you specifically certified anyone or known of any of your certified trainers using Drums Alive for people with diversabilities?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they were already doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and it's dependent upon whom is working with us. So there are lots that do. And some that don't. So some are just, they want the fitness world, and then some want to go into the diverse abilities, and some want to just work with the seniors.
Which I love the fact that it's such a versatile program.
Right.
Every demographic can get something out of it, which is so important. So Diana obviously had a thought and brought her daughter Amber in, and they've been growing it primarily in our area for people with diverse abilities, which I've witnessed that from the sidelines, and I'm just like in awe of the lives it's touching. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, again, I always take myself back to, if somebody's listening, like I put myself in my listeners' shoes. Mm-hmm. And if I am a mom at home, or I'm a female at work, or even a man. We have a few men that listen. I always say a few brave men. And you have an idea that you know could help people, but fear is stopping you. The devil's getting in your head. You have negative thoughts. Please don't. Or even people, like you said, you had somebody even tell you, "Oh, you can't do this."
Yeah,
which
I've had never many. Work. That was a wild one.
I've had many say that to me too. If you can understand that other people's opinions do not matter, they're coming at you from their own limitations and their own perspective. And they think because they can't do something, you can't do something. So please don't take that on. Please don't own their feelings. And know, I'm not sure if you're a faithful person, but know that if God put a thought in your head or an idea in your heart or vice versa, go with it. Go with it. Block everybody out. Because now I've seen in our town so many people that it's a population, people with diversabilities, it's a population that years ago, they really didn't leave their house much, Carrie. They didn't. Yeah. And they felt very undervalued by society, and they would get very depressed, and they didn't have a whole lot of community or interaction. And what Drums Alive does is it brings them into the community, brings them amongst others that are loving, and they meet other people with, similar diversabilities in the class, and they get moving. And I love how Diana would tell the story about Amber. She used to walk with her head down, right, Amber? And now you walk with your head up. And I love that story because that's where that joy and that pride comes from. And I've seen people, I'm not going to get choked up. I've seen individuals with diversabilities walk into Diana's class with their head down and walk out with a big smile on their face with their heads up. And that's what it's all about.
So I just need to also mention about my mother. She taught first in those homes where they locked them up. And then she said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to the schools. And in the 80s, she was already working with diversabilities, teaching music, dance, and rhythm with those students. And I learned from her how to utilize them. And we were so lucky in the 80s. Think of that. In the 80s,
I remember.
Nobody was doing it.
Nope.
But my mom was.
Oh. Yeah. Again.
She worked with not just her diverse. She brought the kids from the classrooms, and they learned to dance and move and use music together. So
I love having female pioneers on Underwire. That's what we're all about. Trailblazers. A lot of times my guests are ahead of their time, which as was your mother and you. And society thanks you for that for sure. And just approaching everyone on an equal level playing field with love and joy and no judgment, because everybody's voice matters and everybody deserves to learn and move and grow and have community. That's what I love most about the Drums Alive program. I love the fact that you're in schools. Is there anywhere else besides schools, gyms, YMCAs that you are?
Nursing homes.
Nursing homes. Thank you. Yeah. I knew I'd missed one.
Yeah.
That is, not to give you more to do, Diana, but listen, I got
Amber and Erica. We can't forget.
Yeah, we got to get in. Amber. We got to get you into the nursing homes because, all right. I got to tell you, I love talking to boots on the ground people. I always say like nurses and teachers. I've really left out the providers of care at nursing homes because the people that are caring for people at nursing homes are just something. They're a special breed because that is such a hard job, and Lord knows they don't get paid for it,
right?
And it's such a, how do I eloquently put this without offending anyone? I'm not going to use the word depressing. It is such a, I don't know how to say it, not sad environment, but you've lived a life, and a lot of people in nursing homes were pilots and just people they fought in wars, interesting lives, and there they are. And I feel like our society, I don't know how it is in Germany, but I just feel like the United States has done a disservice to our elderly.
Yep.
I know in my culture in Italy, they don't do that. I mean, the parents are living with you, driving you crazy, but they're living with you. And so many cultures, it's multi-generational living under one roof. And I feel like we don't value the wisdom of the elderly in our culture. So I love the fact that you're going into nursing homes, bringing them joy and movement and still keeping their brains working. And if I can find some more hours in my day, you've just inspired me to just try to get your program into nursing homes for real, because I think it's such an important piece for that population. I know the RY has an amazing Silver Sneakers program, but for the elderly that aren't mobile or they are stuck in a nursing home, you got to go to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you need to go with a good heart.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So here's a line. I forget where I heard it over the years, so I can't credit anybody, but intentions rule the world. I love that line, because if you're out there doing something to say, oh, look at me, look what I've done, God knows energy. I tell it like it is. God knows energy. So you can fool everybody, but you can't fool God. And when it comes to energy, you will get back the energy that you genuinely are feeling in your heart and emitting. You're not going to get back the energy that you're putting out. So if you're doing something with ill intentions, you will get that karma back to you. But if you are doing something with a genuine, pure heart, that karma will come back to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So intentions rule the world is like, can't remember who said it, but I've always loved that quote.
Really nice.
Ever since I've heard it. And you got to work really hard. Side note, everybody listening, you got to work really hard to change your heart. It's not a conscious mental decision. It's something that you have to pray and meditate on and work to change. It doesn't happen overnight. If you're dealing with something and you want to change your heart, you got to work at it. Little side note, I'm just always trying to teach on here, Carrie.
I see, and I think it's fabulous. You keep on going.
So anywho, all right. So is there anything that I might have missed or maybe not given enough credit to the Drums Alive program for that you would like to speak about? Because I don't want to whittle it down to, we're taking 20 some years of hard work and touching thousands of lives, and we're whittling it down to 44 minutes.
No, and you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be really nice that we could have more little ones like this and not having to think you have to fill everything in 45 minutes. I mean,
good.
You need that time. Everybody needs to process the information that we've talked about already. So
good point.
I think that's good.
Good point.
Yeah.
So for all the listeners, Drums Alive program, I will put, as I do with all of my YouTube videos, I will put all of the information under the video. If you want to check out what it is, reach out to Carrie if you're interested in becoming certified. And side note, if you are a teacher, especially maybe special education teacher, or you're even just a, regular group X instructor at a Y or a gym, please, please, please look into this program and look into getting certified and bringing this to the people in your community, because it is so needed and necessary and different. It's very unique in everything that it can accomplish. And I just want to say to you, Carrie, that I'm honored that you came here, because I know this is a hectic week for you. And I'm grateful to the energy that you put out into the world and for those that you're helping. And you will be here in our town, but we're going to talk to Diana a little bit about what you're going to be doing tomorrow at our local YMCA with Diana and Amber in the Drums Live program. And then you're going to go on to certify people in our area in the program. And also you just met with the county commissioners, which is exciting because I'm sure you've gotten to know Diana, and she's all about working together as a team to lift everybody up and to benefit everyone. So I'm so glad our county commissioners agreed to meet with you. And if it's okay, I will have Diana speak on that meeting and a little bit about what you guys are doing here.
Right. That's important. It's so important for all of us to understand what's happening and how can we improve it. And how can we, not talking about just Drums Alive, but in everybody can be part of helping others.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so
for
much
what you do.
for allowing me, and thanks for bringing a few tears to my eyes. It was fabulous. Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch gears. So welcome back. Now, we switched seats around. We are welcoming in Diana Logan. Again, please check out her my very first conversation. I'm going to start calling them conversations because they're not really interviews. But my very first podcast, and Diana Logan, as you know, was instrumental in bringing Carrie here, and she's been instrumental in growing the Drums Alive program at our local YMCA, her and her daughter Amber. And Amber has a diversability, but she's amazing too. Amber has, you got to watch Amber's video too. She's been to Congress, and she's like BFFs with senators and stuff. So, but I want to mention that Carrie and I forgot to mention, she is working on finishing up another little subcategory of the Drums Alive program called Golden Beats. And she's worked with occupational therapists and physical therapists. And it's going to be an amazing another leg of this program that is reaching so many different demographics. So I just wanted to mention that. And when I did mention that, Diana, I know you have somebody that comes to your Drums Alive program that has Parkinson's, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that individual?
He's just a wonderful guy. He brings a lot of energy to class. You would never know. He is always there as a listening ear for others, but he calls Drums Alive stress management. He likes to beat. He goes, I come and beat on the drum, and I go home feeling much better.
Oh, I love that.
And so the movement, the rhythm, the beat of the music, all helps him.
Yeah, and we're no doctor or scientist.
Right.
However, I can just imagine, because I actually have common sense and use critical thinking skills. Yes. I know that's not popular anymore, but and I would imagine, thinking through that's doing great things for his brain activity too.
Exactly.
And his motor skills. And
yes, he's very inspirational.
Awesome.
I'm
just curious, what physical does he have any physical limitations?
No.
Okay, all right, but he does have Parkinson's. No. So there's a little side note for you. So Diana, tell me a little bit, just briefly about how we know that you went to a training and you met Carrie. How has your journey been getting to know her and kind of, building your certifications, getting Amber certified? Kind of tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, I want to start back to day one when we started Superstars, and because representatives of the IU will be there tomorrow too. IU invited me in for a summer program just to do movement music, and I looked at one of the young ladies, and as a matter of fact, she will be the first one coming in tomorrow, Miss Amanda, and I watched her joy as we moved, and I said, on the way back, I was talking to myself in the car, best conversation. And I said, I should know this. Why don't we have anything? So I went back to the Y, and they loved the idea. And the Y is about reaching out into the community. And so they said, we love the idea. It should be at no cost, which was a huge help. So we started Saturday. Instrumental in starting was Amber and my daughter, Erica, who at the time was finishing up her special education degree. Mm-hmm. And the three of us started typical group fitness things on a Saturday morning with 5 or 6. As a matter of fact, I have a picture of the original, and the original group, and it was fun, but trying to come up with things to keep it fun, engaging, and not
that's difficult.
Exercise.
Yeah.
So the Y sent me to Sunbury for Drums Alive, and they said, we looked this up, and we think that you would have fun teaching it. So I went and as I got in there, they said, does anyone here teach a class for individuals with special needs? And I was the only one who raised my hand. And I went, okay. They said, talk to us. And they said, you want to start this? So I started, and we're going into our 14th year.
Oh my gosh.
After we started. And from week 1, when I started that, it was like I lit a fire. And so that has it has kind of exploded here. And I think it's the fun, the music, and the movement. So it took the three of us, Erica, Amber, myself, and then I was sending information to them, and then got on Facebook, made connection with Karen, who lives in Hawaii too, that works for Drums Alive, and she was awesome, and she would respond. And anyway,
see, this is where the power of social media can do amazing things.
And and I believe one time Carrie flew in the States that I spoke to her on the phone, and I was telling her about the group. But anyway, they sent me that they were going to have a training in Rhode Island. Could you get there? And if I could, I would bring the girls. And they graciously said, bring Amber and let's get her certified.
Yay!
And that was like a pivotal moment because, first of all, was making the trip. And for anybody with any kind of traumatic brain injury, fatigue comes into play. She was so pumped. And I said, girlfriend, you're going to have to suck it up, buttercup, didn't I? Because it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And she made it through 2.5 days, 2 full days. And it was a challenge. And Erica, too, because Erica wanted to bring it back to her life skill room, which was amazing to watch. So we're flying there, and I looked at them and I'm like, how cool is this?
I know.
You know, that this could be happening. So the Y's always been supportive. This is a Y program.
Yes.
Without their support, I couldn't have done this. So they flew they flew me there in the Jones Center. Dr. Jones's family flew the girls. And we stayed in Rhode Island and trained with like 60 others, which was amazing experience. Teachers, educators, school counselors, caseworkers.
Wow.
I mean, it was so cool. So we knew we really came back excited after that. But the journey from there was keeping in touch with them Saturdays. And I said, I want to go further with this. And so that's how we slowly built. So, well, now we have the inclusion class at EL, which is huge.
Yes. And now the inclusion class is what? How is that different? That's Superstars, or is that something separate from
That's
Superstars?
something separate.
Okay.
We call all the individuals Superstars. That's kind of been our logo from the beginning. But when we expanded the program, all the classes are inclusive. And so I say inclusive because that is the only way that I can express.
And it's the only way I think that we understand it, unfortunately, because we've been taught certain things. But so Amber, I want to side note, was the first person, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the United States with a diversability to be certified in Drums Alive. Is that correct?
Right. Carrie told us that when we were in Rhode Island.
So exciting.
She said, Amber, do you realize?
Yeah.
And Amber, Carrie will tell the story when she got there. She was real shy looking down. And once you get drumming and you're with others and her confidence built. So then we came back. And then on Saturdays, Amber, you're going to teach a song. Okay? We all look differently when we drum.
Sure.
And
well, we all look different when we work out. Yeah.
You know that you saw her confidence grow. And then I think it took a little while, and when we expanded the classes, we said we want Amber on board also, and the Y hired Amber, and so from then on, it has been, which I love. She is treated like everyone else. She is reimbursed like everyone else, and that.
Didn't think I'd need these today.
Anyway.
But you know what? It should be. But side note, teaching moment for listeners. If you're a mom sitting home or a dad and you have a child or any loved one with a diverse ability, they have a right to be in the community with everyone else. They have a right to have a job like everybody else. And we need to keep forging these paths and staying strong and doing what we know is right according to God, not according to society. Okay? I said it.
And she relates to the individuals. They relate to her. And now that they see her leading, they are here. So that's going to be the hard thing tomorrow. We have to keep the front open because the individuals want to be next to Amber. Where they see her leading, we can be too. I love that I had a quick side story about a young man that's been coming to class, and he is Joy. And his worker came up and said, okay, he doesn't have, we were trying to get some goals, and he really doesn't express a lot. But his one thing that he wishes that he could do and I want to talk to you. I said, what's that? She said, help you lead a song. What? We can do this. So this is where Amber comes into play. We're all lined up at EL. We're drumming, having fun. I put in the song that, like, one of his favorites. Amber steps out of her. That is another thing about Amber that has been great, is she is humble. She's not about being in the forefront. Like Erica said in the newspaper article, Amber will serve wherever she's given. Amber steps out, step up. And his worker was taking pictures, and she said to see his face.
Oh,
because they can be leaders. They need to be given a chance.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so that, and then he goes right back. It's not like he wants to be this showboat. I reached my goal. I led, and I said, that's just a small step of helping and gaining the confidence and they take that in the community. And this is what I've said this to the county commissioners. Why wouldn't we want that? So many come in, like, head down. You ask a name and they barely look up. 2 a month in, they're lined up front with Amber, saying, I can do this too. Tomorrow, you will see that in the cool down. When we go to cool down, it's a given. They want to help her. They'll move up front with her. And I just step out of the way, step to the side, many times driven to tears, watching the movement of the cool down with the music and the words, and say, how cool is this? And why wouldn't we want this in the community? I mean, some come every day, Tuesday through Saturday.
Wow. You mentioned the county commissioners. Can you speak on, and maybe not, maybe you don't have anything planned yet, but can you speak about anything that came out of your meeting today when Carrie met with the county commissioners that maybe we have to look forward to, or how you're working with the city to?
I think some of the things she said were eye-opening. Rick commented that he did not know that it was a brain workout too. And we are all working together on the diversability board, and they have been instrumental. That's why today I wanted to make the point to everyone, working together, we can do so much. We wouldn't have got the support for another year without them. Now they referred us on to MHID, and through them we got support for another year. So
and what is MHID?
Mental health, intellectual diversability, I'll say.
Is that
That's a local organization that helps with the services that go out, like coming in Clinton County. As a matter of fact, Keith Wagner, the administrator for MHID, is coming tomorrow, and they have met with county commissioners from Clinton County, and they want to get the program in Lock Haven. And so they may be there tomorrow. I'm not positive.
So if anyone's listening and you're not from our area, I'm sure you have a local resource similar to the one that you just mentioned. If not, go to the state level, of course. Mm-hmm. And also, could you please tell listeners, if they're not local or from PA, what the IU is?
Intermediate 17 is an organization that specializes in special education. Erica works there. She started as a life skill teacher. It's what they specialize. So different school districts will house a classroom that's IU 17, and kids can come from all districts.
And that's a Pennsylvania thing.
Amber
so
was
if
in
they're
a IU class.
Gotcha. So if they're from, someone's listening and you're from another state, I'm sure, again, you have something similar. So the key is to not only just bring this in as, like you said, as an exercise class, because it's so much more, to a gym or a Y, but please branch out. If you have a child with a diverse ability, or you're involved as an instructor somewhere, please reach out to the different organizations in your community, like you've done, to help grow the program, bring awareness about the program, and bring it to inclusion, which we hate that word, but you know what we mean. Is there anything else you would like to touch upon that Carrie might be doing while she's here, or that I missed?
I'm excited. Tomorrow we're making it into an event, kind of. It started out as she's going to come drum, and Carrie wants to spend time with the individuals. So all of our RVR, Heather Eck, will be there too. She got certified. She is instrumental in helping us at Williamsport and subbing for me. She's an amazing young lady, amazing with the individuals. And so I think by bringing her here, I wanted her to see what her work has done for our area. And also hopes more instructors Saturday. to get certified, to take it more into the communities here. We have a group coming from Hershey.
Oh, wow.
6 instructors coming from Hershey.
Great. Please know that if God puts a desire in your heart or a thought in your head and people tell you you can't do it, if you know it's going to affect so many people and help so many lives, please just, stick to your guns and make your dream a reality, because this is affecting so many people's lives. And once something is genuine and gets rolling like this, it just spreads like wildfire, which I love. Right. And I'm so grateful to you as well and all that you've done. Yeah. Thank you, Diana. Yes. Okay, so welcome Amber Logan. And if you did not catch her conversation, it was our second podcast. So how excited are you to have Carrie here?
Very excited.
Yeah. And how did the county commissioner meeting go?
It went very well. I think it was very well received.
Good. Did you speak there?
No, I did not.
Okay, that's okay. Because you've spoken to the commissioners before.
Hard to believe.
Yeah. I'm kidding. I love you. Yeah, she's okay. She's okay. And so how about tomorrow? You have some plans for tomorrow. Carrie's going to be there, as your mom said, and some guests. Mm-hmm. And you'll be teaching one song?
Yes, I will be teaching one song.
Yes. And are you, how do you feel about sharing what you've accomplished through becoming certified in Drums Alive and sharing the love and joy you get from it? How does that make you feel to be able to share that with the guests tomorrow that are coming?
Well, it makes me very special.
Yes.
Because even though I'm not like people say disability pride, I'm not prideful about my disability, but it's just how God just brought me into their individuals' lives for them to help be leaders, that I could be a role model to individuals. And that's why I love my job, basically. Yes.
And that's why I love you.
Yeah.
So I love that you're teaching as well, that pride is not really, there's no place for pride anywhere. Pride is not a good thing. No. And your mom shared with us how humble you are in even allowing that one gentleman to come up and accomplish one of his goals, right? Mm-hmm. And teach a little bit. And you're reaching out to others, not just through physical movement, but you're helping their brain and you're bringing them together into community. And do you know, I'm going to put you on the spot again, do you know if anyone else has since been certified in Drums Alive with a diversability? Because we know you were the first.
Not really that I really know of.
I'm going to ask Carrie. Has anybody else been that you know of? Okay, good. So, Amber, I'm going to put you on my list of trailblazers, because when you're the first to do something as a female, as a woman, you make way for other women, and look what you just did. Now, other people, whether they be female or male, are getting certified and they have diversabilities and they're reaching out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how much do you love your mom and Carrie for doing all of this?
I think it's very cool experience. And I think it's a very cool experience for Carrie to see all the superstars and how much our program is growing and growing because of her and because of the experiences. And I'm just excited morely for the parents to say how much it's doing for my child.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
You brought up a good point, because I have a lot of parents listening. So I'm glad you said that. And I always like to get biblical wisdom from you. So I get your daily Bible verses, which I love, on my text, and I send them to my daughters a lot. So do you have any Bible verse that you'd like to end with, that you'd like people to hear?
Well, my favorite is what I said, that you can't do anything impossible to I'm possible, because like I always say, remember my favorite scripture verse, For with God all things are possible, because you can do it.
Oh,
and nobody can tell you no.
Oh, I love you. Woo! Love empowered women. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. That was the best way to end it.